Greetings, Cyberdogs and citizens of the Interbubs. This is ReNDoG coming at you from the Moleshire in this Let's Play Minecraft Survival series. How's everybody out there doing today, baby? You guys ready for some Minecraft survival with your dog? Oh man, it's nice and early in the morning for me. It's another frosty winter's day in England, and I am ready to play some Minecraft with you guys. Man, we got some sweet stuff that we're doing today. But before we get to that, my friends, I want to take a quick moment to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who has been enjoying this series, showing me mad amounts of love in the comments on Twitter. Also, been getting so much positivity around this series, guys. Thank you so freaking much, man. Keep it coming, okay? Keeps me super inspired. Makes me really happy to see how much you guys are enjoying this series, and makes me really proud that we can be working on this together, putting together something real special out here in the Moleshire. Oh, man. Speaking of real special, we unlocked some trades in the previous episode, didn't we? We were over at the Holiday Inn working on a railway station, and we got a few trades unlocked with ReNDoG the Gobbit. I've been told by some of you guys in the comments of the previous episode that ReNDoG could in fact have one more trade available in his repertoire. We got him to unlock a Smite 5 book in the previous episode. I wasn't very happy with that, although turns out Smite 5 is actually not that bad. A lot of you guys have been telling me Smite 5 is going to help us kill some very dangerous mobs in this game, including wither skeletons and a whole bunch of other dangerous things that we're eventually going to be killing one day. So yeah, Smite 5 not too bad. However, the most exciting news for today, I guess, is that ReNDoG could potentially have another book that he could unlock for us. So today, we're going to be heading back to the Holiday Inn at some point to try and unlock ReNDoG's final book trade, and hopefully it's going to be a really decent book. I have also created a brand new name tag for him, ReNDoG the Gobbit. Did a little bit of fishing this morning, got myself another name tag so we can actually fix his name. We can put all of that OCD to rest. I know it's driving some of you guys out there absolutely crazy that we named him ReNDoG the Grobbit and not ReNDoG the Gobbit. That's my bad. That's my bad, guys. We're going to fix that today. I've also been working on a few rock formations out here on the brand new storage hole mountain that we set up last time. Looking pretty sweet, right? Oh, baby. You know it, man. You know it. Looking real good. The sun's going down, though, which is a little bit of a concern. And today, my friends, we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work. I don't got time for the undead. I got no time for the undead today. We're headed back into the mines of the dog. I think I mentioned in the previous episode that we are literally 11 iron ingots away from completely running out of iron in this series, which is very, very bad news for us here in Minecraft Survival, because we need iron for so many different things. All right, guys, welcome back. Just had to sleep that night away quick, fast, and in a hurry, baby. You know, whenever the sun goes down in this series, I get a little bit nervous. Mostly because I'm never wearing any armor, and as you guys have witnessed so far in the series, I don't get along with the undead very well, so just had to get the sun up into the sky as fast as possible. I don't actually know where the sun is right now. A little bit of a cloudy day here at the Moleshire. But anyway, we are working in the mines of the dog today, guys. Super exciting little mini project that we're going to be firing up today. We've been working out at the Holiday Inn quite a lot. I'm quite keen to get back underground into the super damp cave. We were doing quite a lot of work here a few episodes back. We set up this really cool item delivery system, of course, which sends items directly into the storage hole on the surface. It sends them very slowly, but it's all good. It's all good. It works, just at a very slow pace, much like the ReNDoG brain. But today, guys, we are going to be working on this railway delivery line. This railway line goes all the way down to about level 11, where we are going to be setting up a little bit of a mine situation for ourselves. We are running out of iron. These are the last iron ingots that we've got. And also, we need a lot more diamonds. We've got Terra, the amazing pickaxe. It's got Silk Touch on it, though, which means we are no longer generating cobblestone in this series. Of course, we can smelt cobblestone into smooth stone, which is great, but we can't do the reverse. And the only way that we can get cobblestone in Minecraft is if we mine it. So we need some more diamonds so that we can actually make for ourselves a brand new pickaxe that'll be able to get cobblestone for us. So we got lots of work to do today. I've been doing a little bit of thinking exactly how I want this design to look, and it's going to look sweet, dudes. I've got a really awesome design for this. It's going to be a little bit of a grindy task today, though. But worry not, my friends, because ReNDoG's got a little story to tell you today. Oh, baby. In about 10 days from now, guys, I I am going to be heading all the way to South Africa from England. It's about a 12-hour flight, and I am going there for about 4 weeks to spend Christmas with my family in South Africa, and it is going to be absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to get myself over there. I'm going to be on a beach in about 10 days' time, getting a suntan, man. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, get in line. Oh, man. ReNDoG is going to be looking good, babe. Anyway, I'm going to a beautiful place in South Africa that is a very, very important part of my life. In fact, one of the most important parts of my life growing up. I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story about that today. But before we get to that, let's start thinking about a design for this railway line over here. First thing that we need to do is figure out a way to get rid of these redstone torches. These redstone torches are powering our railway line right now, but they're kind of in the way for what I've got planned over here. You see, what I would like to do over here is create some sort of a really amazing looking... Oh, oops, do I have an axe? Yeah, we got the Derpinator. Some sort of amazing looking like a facade to this tunnel that's going to go all the way down. And I'm thinking about something like this, right? What happens if we get some of these beautiful spruce logs and we start creating some walls that is going to be holding up this tunnel, right? We gotta put our minds in the minds of a miner. How would a mining operation of hobbits, or of gobbets, should I say, create a mine like this? How would they support the walls and such, right? And I think I've got a really cool idea for this. So let's put some cobblestone back here, just behind these two support beams. And I want to put some cobblestone and throw in some mossy stone there too. I think that's going to look really cool. Do I have any andesite or something over here that we could throw behind there? I think I might have some. Yeah, let's get some andesite, and also let's get some spruce slabs going too. You guys are going to see what I'm doing in a second. Check this out, man. It's going to be freaking awesome. So we've got all this cobblestone and stuff back here. Let's get a little bit of andesite back there too, just to sort of mix it up a little bit, get a bit of andesite in there, and maybe one over there. Now, here's what I'm thinking, right? We build these support pillars over here that is holding up the walls of this tunnel, and then in front of that, we are going to be piling up planks, right? We want to keep this stuff from flowing over into the tunnel. We want to hold back all of those broken stones, all of those jagged rocks, those dangerous bits of granite and concrete that has been excavated while we've been creating this mine. And we want to hold those back with some planks over here, right? So if we did a little bit of this, and then what we can do is use some beautiful slabs over here to create these sort of lines in here, right? Or should I say these sort of gaps in the wood, right? Because if we think about how this might have been made, these planks would have just been rammed into this wall, right? They would have just got shoved in here to sort of keep that stuff from falling over into the railway line. So I think that looks really sweet. And then, of course, for extra protection, maybe what we could do is add some of these fences over here too, which is kind of like the design in the storage hole too, which I think looks really, really cool. In fact, maybe we could even change the color of these fences. Maybe we change them to oak fences or something like that. But that looks pretty cool to me. I like that, man. Imagine that going all the way down this tunnel, all the way to the bottom. I think that looks really sweet. I love those little accents of green back there, right? Sort of moss-covered stone being held back by this wall. I think that looks really, really fancy. Now, the thing that we're going to need to do, though, is probably dig up this entire railway line, because we need to find a better way to put these redstone torches here. On this side, as you can see, we've got the redstone torch powering the powered rail. On this side, it's powered, but you don't see a redstone torch, and that obviously makes it look a lot better, especially with this wall design that we're working on. So check this out. I worked out a pretty fancy way to get this done. I'm going to get rid of all of these blocks, and let's put the redstone torch underneath the powered rail instead of next to it, right? And what we're going to do is plonk that redstone torch down there, and we're going to put a block on top of that redstone torch. Now, this block has got redstone power now because it is touching that torch. So if we stick the powered rail on it, boom, that powered rail gets a little power juice in its belly. So there we go. We can power our rail like that and hide the redstone torch too. So that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Alrighty, Cyberdog dogs. All the hard and boring work has now been completed. Tara has been grinding her little butt off this morning, preparing this mineshaft for blockification. And that makes me really happy. All we need to do now is repeat that pattern that we designed up here all the way down the passage. And by the end of this, we should have a really awesome looking mineshaft, and we can actually start putting this mine to use. Start generating some resources up in this series, which I'm super excited about. So we got a little bit of grind to do here, guys. Lots of blocks to be placed. Hope you got a tasty beverage, something crunchy to snack on too. I got a nice warm cup of coffee over here. It's super cold in England right now. Give me 1 second. There we go. We're going to start things by creating these support beams that are going to be running all the way down the mine shaft. These support beams are made out of trees, different types of trees. So we're going to be using different types of wood too. Spruce, dark oak wood, and a little bit of oak every now and then too, just to create something interesting as we're traveling up and down here, right? And I guess also when the miners created this mine shaft, they would have used different types of trees to create these support beams. So it makes sense to sort of mix it up a little bit and makes it look a little bit sweeter too. So yeah, let's get busy, man. Let's start placing some blocks. Now, guys, in 10 days' time, oh man, I am so excited. I'm getting on a jet plane, flying all the way to the end of the African continent to spend Christmas with my mum and my stepdad. And of course, at this time of year in South Africa, it is summertime, baby. The sun is out, it is nice and hot. I'm going to be spending my days on a beach, catching a suntan for the ladies. Oh man. It is going to be so awesome. But you know what, man? What I'm most excited about is being able to spend a lot of time with my mum and my stepdad. I'm going to be out there for about 4 weeks or so. And I'm going to be going to a very small town on the east coast of South Africa. A town that I have gone to for summer holiday for basically my entire life. The first time I went to this town, I was about 8 years old. And we went there for our very first new family holiday. And we continued to go there for the next at least 10 to 12 years. Every single year for December, we would go out there and we would spend 4 weeks together as a new family. I say new family because, as I've mentioned before in the series, my father passed away when I was about 6 years old, and my mum remarried about 2 or 3 years later. Well, actually, she remarried about 6 years later, I guess, but a new man came into our life about 3 years later, a man who would, well, become one of the most important people in my life. A man who is now my father, who I see as my father and who I acknowledge as my father. A man who has given me more opportunities in this life that I could ever have wished for. In fact, opportunities that have resulted in me sitting here producing these videos for you guys today. If it wasn't for my stepfather, we probably would not be doing this right now. And the more that I've thought about this, the more that I've realized that this particular holiday house that we've been going to in December was one of the reasons why I feel so close to my stepfather, or as I say these days, my father, because this was the place where, after a very traumatic experience in my younger family, when my father passed away, this was the place where I think my mum in particular, and of course my brother and I, did a lot of healing from what had happened to my original father. A place where we sort of came together as a family again after a very, very tragic period in my life. And of course it was all thanks to my stepfather that brought us together like this. And every single December, my stepfather and my mum would take a good 4 weeks off holiday from work, and we would get into the car on a very early morning in Johannesburg, which was all the way in the north of South Africa. And we would go on a 12-hour journey all the way to the east coast of South Africa, where we would spend the entire December, entire Christmas, and a little bit of January together as a family. And it was in those times, during those periods, where I created, I think, now that I think back on it, a very, very close bond to my stepfather, a bond that has lasted the ages. And we're very, very close now, and we will continue to be very close. And I think it's mostly due to these holidays that we took, because my stepfather worked extremely hard throughout my childhood. He was working like an absolute maniac to give me the opportunities that I had, to give me the education that I managed to get, to put me through school, to put me through college, to get me to the place where I could get myself over to England, where I could eventually start my own business, where I could eventually be recording Minecraft videos with you guys here on the internet. And he has supported me throughout my life, throughout my failures, throughout my successes, and all of the crazy ideas I've ever had throughout my life. My stepfather has been there behind me, and he's supported every single decision that I've ever made. And if it's not clear already, I'm extremely grateful for my stepfather, and I love him immensely. And I think it was those times that we spent together on the east coast of South Africa during my childhood that really bonded us as father and son during those times. And I'm going back to that place for my holiday now, and I don't think that I will ever lose my love for this particular place, because I've been going there for so long, for so many years, and it was so important to me, as I've been mentioning, as a kid, due to the fact that it helped to heal my family in all of these sort of these things that I'm telling you about now. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit emotional thinking about it. Let me try and regather my thoughts. So yeah, guys, as you can probably tell, I am super excited to go and spend a bit of quality time with my mama and my dad in South Africa this December. Can't wait to get away from this icy northern hemisphere winter and into the blazing sun of the African summer, man. It is going to be so sweet. And yeah, guys, I guess one of the other reasons why I love going to this place so very much is because it is a place where I spent a ridiculous amount of time with my younger brother, the real Goxie, as he is known here on YouTube. My brother Goxie is 2 years younger than me, and we are very close, not only in age, but in friendship too. We've been very close our entire lives, and especially when we were younger and when we were going through this sort of transitional period, my brother and I became very close. And we used to spend every summer together on the beach at this place, and we used to sleep in the same room. We used to never leave each other's side. We basically just used to hang out for the entire 4 weeks together, and we used to come up with the most awesome games to keep ourselves occupied. And basically, a day in the life of the ReNDoG and the real Goxie went a little something like this. We'd wake up super early in the morning, probably annoying my mum and my dad something fierce, because all we wanted to do was get to the beach as fast as possible and spend as much time on the beach as possible. And we used to wake up, have breakfast with the family, and I can still remember those beautiful mornings when the sun would be rising over the ocean, beckoning us to get down to the beach to come up with some amazing game to play together for that particular day. And we would have our breakfast. We'd get a bag, fill it up with some water bottles, a few sandwiches, some bananas, some food and stuff, some towels, some sun cream, of course, to keep our skin from burning in the summer sun. And we used to say goodbye to my mum and my dad, and we would head down to the beach to spend a good 3-4 hours there before we would come back for lunch. And then we'd come back for lunch, we'd eat lunch, and then we'd sort of hang out in the house for a couple of hours, maybe play a little bit of Nintendo or Sega Mega Drive. I know, you guys don't know what that is, but it's okay. It's basically like the old school version of the PlayStation or the Xbox, okay? Jeez. Anyway, we'd play a couple hours of that, and once our food had been digested and my mum and my stepdad would go for an afternoon nap, we would go back down to the beach and do another few hours of play on the beach until the sun started to set. And that would basically be our days for 4 weeks in a row, non-stop. And I gotta tell you, man, loved every single minute of it. We just couldn't wait to wake up every morning and start playing and start figuring out what we're going to do in the day. And what the Goxie and I used to do, and one of the things we used to love doing the most together, was creating weird and wonderful games on the beach. And we came up with many interesting games. One of the games that always makes me laugh was a game that we used to call Hold Back the Tide. And it was a basically never-ending battle against the tides of the ocean. And what we would try to do is create these different structures that our child brains thought might be able to hold back the incoming tide, right? So after lunch or in the mornings, whenever the tides were coming in and out, we would go down to the beach and we'd start creating these elaborate walls and these water traps. And we would dig holes that the water would flow into, the thinking being that the hole would suck in the water and that would stop the tide coming up the beach, which was, of course, a futile effort for two kids to try stop the tide. And now that I'm older, in many ways, I guess it could be seen as very metaphorical, right? Holding back the tides of time, holding back the tides of age, etc., etc., etc. Oh man, we could get really deep up in this business with that jazz. But that was one of the games that the Goxie and I used to play. But another one of the games that we used to play that I want to tell you guys about was kind of a violent game. I guess it was kind of violent, maybe a little bit dangerous for like a 8 or 9-year-old and a 7-year-old to be playing together. But what we used to do is we used to set up 2 different cities about 20 meters away from each other, right? 15, 20 meters away from each other. I would go and build myself a little city with walls, and each of the city had to have a capital central building, like a cathedral or whatever, like a main castle, and then we would make like 5 to 10 houses or something something like that around the central castle. We'd build the walls up. We'd use shells to decorate the different buildings and stuff, make them look really, really sweet. And we used to find feathers and and sticks and stuff that the sea had washed up onto the beach, and we used to make ourselves these 2 amazing cities. And the idea was that we would create these cities, and then we would attack these cities. And whoever's city was standing at the end of the attack would be the winner for the game of that particular day. Now, the way that we used to attack each other's cities was a little bit violent and, as I was saying, a little bit dangerous. Because what we would do is we would stand behind our city and we would throw a stone at our opponent's city, right? So we'd find a stone on the beach or sort of in the dunes somewhere, and that would become our catapult, I suppose. And we used to catapult the stone at each other's cities. And the idea was if you could break your opponent's main castle, you would win the game, or if you could destroy all of your opponent's houses, you would also win the game, right? So we'd be sitting there hurling this stone at each other, trying to break each other's city with this stone. Now, of course, the problem was, and I guess it wasn't really a problem, but it's probably something that we didn't think about when we were younger. But of course, one of the things was that I had an advantage in this game. I was 2 years older than the Goxie. I had a little bit of a better throw, so to speak, right? I could throw a little bit further, a little bit faster, with a little bit more accuracy. So I used to win the game more often than not, I guess. And I don't know, I should have probably been a good brother and let him win a couple times. But, I wanted to win. Anyway, one day we were playing this game, and we made the cities a little bit further away from each other than we usually did. And of course, this gave me a really big advantage. And I could easily hit my brother's city, and he really had to put his back into throwing that stone to get it into, to even get it close to my city, which to this day I still feel a little bit bad about, to be honest. I should have been a little bit nicer there, but you know how it goes, man. Older brothers are always a little bit mean to their younger brothers, right? Or that's at least how I like to think about it. Oh, Goxie, I love you, man. I never meant any of the things I did, okay? I was just a kid. Oh, man. Anyway, we were playing this game, and I was winning quite a lot, and I think I'd taken out maybe 70% of Goxie's houses, and it was my turn to throw, and I wanted to give it a really good throw. I wanted to hit Goxie's capital, take his capital building down to Chinatown, and win the game for myself. And I wound up my arm, and I threw that stone as hard as I could up into the air. It was kind of like an arc, and I remember watching that stone with the beautiful blue sky in the background, and it sort of went into slow motion. The stone went into the arc, it went up into the sky, and it started coming down. And as I looked down, trying to see the target where the stone would hit, there I saw my little brother's face staring at the stone incoming, and he kind of froze like a deer in the headlights, because the stone wasn't heading for his capital city. The stone was heading straight for his tiny little head. And the stone came out of that blue sky and smacked him right in the forehead, and he went down like a ton of bricks and just started screaming and crying in pain. And I'm sure it was absolutely ridiculously painful. I mean, it wasn't a big stone, but it probably still hurt something fierce. And I felt so incredibly bad. I was so worried that I'd hurt him really badly. Maybe I'd broken his brain or something like that, you know what I mean? And I ran over as fast as I could to his city to see if he was okay. And he was crying. There was a sort of bruise mark on his head. Luckily, I didn't draw any blood. And there was like a little lump forming on his little head. Oh, bless him. It was absolutely horrible. And I felt so bad. I was so worried also that my mum was going to absolutely go mental, that I would be punished for the rest of the holiday, that I wouldn't be allowed to go to the beach for the rest of the holiday. I'd be grounded. I wouldn't be able to play Nintendo or Sega Mega Drive. My holiday was wrecked because I was an idiot, and I tried so hard to destroy my little brother's fort, even though I was winning. Man, I hope I learned a lesson from that, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, I came over to him, and I was trying to help him, and I was trying to check his head, trying to make sure that he was okay. And I remember saying to him, please don't tell mum, please don't tell mum. And I was sure that he was going to tell my mum, geez, I'd really hurt him. And the little Goxie looked up at me with his little face, tears in his eyes, sand all around his mouth, and, underneath his eyes, caught in his ear ducts, and his eye ducts. He could barely see because he'd been rubbing his face with his hands from the pain. So he'd put sand all up in his eyes and his lips and all over his face. And he looked at me and he said, I'm not going to tell mum if you don't tell mum. And I still remember to this day thinking to myself how much I love this kid. And I'll never forget the look on his face, because I think I was kind of flabbergasted when he said, I'm not going to tell mum. I didn't really know why that was the case. And I was sort of looking at him, looking in his eyes with tears running through that sand on his cheeks. And in that moment, I think he understood what I was thinking. And he said to me, we shouldn't tell mum, because if we do, she won't let us play this game anymore. And it was a really special moment for us. And I hugged him and he hugged me back, and there we sat, covered in sand, covered in tears, under the blazing summer sun. Goxie's castle and city in ruins, a lump forming on his head, but two brothers coming to an understanding, even though one of us had been completely injured and one of us had been knocked in the head with a rock. We came to a brotherly understanding that day, and we shared a very special moment with a lot of love there, man. And it's one of the reasons why, even to this day, when the Goxie and I talk about this place, we talk about it with so much fondness and so much love, because it was so special to both of us, even though I almost killed my little brother that day. Now we be cooking with gas, baby. Oh man, this mineshaft is looking so sweet, dudes. Take a look at this. Looking absolutely beautiful. I have completed one side of the wall here for the mineshaft. It's taken me a very long time, so I don't think we'll complete the other wall today, but I do want to show you some of the amazing new additions that I've made to the place. I got rid of all of those fences. I think the fences were a little bit too chaotic. There was just too much going on, and I really love this wall behind the fencage with the blocks behind the slabs. I think it just looks so cool that I want to expose it a little bit. So I made the fence more of a railing, and I've also added some block variation into the actual wooden planks. Now we've got dark oak wood planks and spruce wood planks. We've also got some spruce planks, or some spruce fences, excuse me, mixed into the oak fences. And what this is representing is moisture, right? These planks are getting super moist from all the water down here. There's some water obviously in this green block, and that's sort of penetrated into this wood, made it darker. This wood is wet over here, right? These fences are wet here too. And of course, what we've got here is a little bit of algae growing into the walls. We've got some of these beautiful green leaf blocks, excuse me, growing in the wall here too, right? And that's here not only to break up the brown of the build, but also to add a little bit more realism into it, right? There's obviously going to be a bunch of moisture down here, and that's looking really, really good. Just ran out of leaves, unfortunately, but look at that as we're traveling up this mineshaft. Doesn't that look fantastic? I really, really love it, man. I'll probably finish the other side of the mineshaft off camera because, well, it's quite a lot of grind work, and I think I'm probably going to have to get myself a few more logs and whatnot. But I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this, man. You know what we could potentially do with these leaves also? Let's just try one more thing together. Do we have any more leaves here? I think I got some more leaves here, yeah. What we could potentially do, instead of having these leaves on this layer, maybe what we do is actually push them in to the wall itself, right? Like get them a little bit deeper in there, just so they don't sort of stick out here, and it looks a little bit weird here, doesn't it? So we could potentially like shift the leaves inwards, if you know what I'm saying. Like that actually might look a little bit better. Anyway, I'll probably experiment a little bit more with that off camera. But guys, very interested to see what you think about this in the comments. Please let me know your thoughts on the brand new Mines of the Dog Mineshaft. I love coming out here to the Holiday Inn, guys. It looks so cool as you're approaching this area. I'm so happy with what's happening out here, man. Anyway, here we are to do some trading with the Grodo. Let's get Maximus in his pen, and let's go give Grodo his proper name so that we can undo that little bit of derpage that we did a couple episodes ago. Hey, Grodo, nice to hear you're still alive, dude. What's cracking? You're just staring into the corner there. Are you getting depressed in here? Well, that's understandable, man. You don't even have a toilet in here, man. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Grodo the Grobbit. You need to become Grodo the Gobbit. There we go. That's better. And, my dude, I've got some more paper for you, man. Are you excited? This is the most exciting thing that's happened to Grodo all day. He's going to get some more paper. Whoop-de-doo. I've been harvesting some of the sugarcane throughout the day today, guys. Managed to get myself quite a lot of paper, actually. So that's good. And the last time we traded with Grodo, I don't know why I keep calling him Grobo. I'm such an idiot. The last time we traded with Grodo, all we needed was paper to set it off, right? So let's do some paper trades here. That's all the trading that he can do. Let's see if he gets some sparkles around him. Was that enough to entice you to sparkle, Grodo? No, okay, that's fine. We can now get some bookshelves for emeralds, right? No, here, some glass for emeralds. Let's get some glass for emeralds, because that's super cheap. Is that going to make you sparkle? Come on, my dude. You know you want to sparkle. Do I have particles on? Yep, particles are on. So Grodo is not quite happy to open up his final trade just yet. Maybe one more bit of glass will entice him. How about that, Grodo? How about that, dude? Was that enough to get the other one open? How rude. Well, guys, I've just had to go back to the Moleshire to kill a bunch of cows to get a bunch of leather so that I could make a bunch of books. Because books is another thing that Grodo will take. He doesn't want paper anymore, and some of these other things are too expensive. So let's have a look. I've made myself a stack and a smidge of books. Let's try get as many emeralds from Grodo as possible here for the books. And hopefully this is going to be enough to unlock his trade. Let's try that. Is that good enough? 5 trades for you, Grodo? There we go. He did it. Okay, so he did, in fact, have another trade for us. Thank you, guys, for all of you guys who told me about it. Let's have a look what it is. We know this is Smite 5, right? What is the next trade? Okay, it is a book and 8 emeralds. That is super cheap compared to a book and 64 emeralds, right? What is this book gonna be, though? Let's have a look. Flame. Well, it's not terrible, but it's an enchantment for a bow, which isn't exactly exciting. We can get that from the Skelebut farm. So, Grodo, that's mildly disappointing, man. Although I gotta say, only 8 emeralds for flame? That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Can we actually unlock his final trade, which I think is Bottle O Enchanting or something? Let's do a few more trades with him, and we could probably do a few more paper trades here too. Let's just unlock him completely, right? While we're here, we might as well unlock him completely. I think he's got one more trade to go. Yeah, there we go. What's your final trade there, my beautiful Grobbit friend? A name tag? That's actually excellent. Thanks, Grodo. Actually, I'll take that. You know what? I'm happy with that. Very unhappy, though, that we got Flame and Smite 5 as your book enchants, my dude. That's very disappointing. But the sun is setting outside, so I guess you and I are stuck here till the sun comes up, Grodo, my friend. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode, man. Hope you did enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the story. Hey, if you've got a similar place that you went to when you was a kid, or you're going to now as a kid, and it's a very special place in your heart, why don't you let me know in the comments if you've made it this far in the video. I would love to see that. Let me know if you've got any really, really important special places that you've been to in your life that hold a really special place in your heart, man. Always love reading those comments from you guys. Thanks for watching, guys. ReNDoG signing out from the Moleshire. Hey, we'll see you again real soon, okay? And yeah, ReNDoG signing out. Goodbye, my friends.